Hello, Riddle 5th graders. Welcome to art class session, video session number 2. If you're listening to me, you found my resources on Schoology. You should have seen the slideshow. It's a Google Slides, and it starts here. It's called Grade 5 Mr. Niemerg's art class, and by now you should have gone through it. It talks about composition, the way that artwork is arranged. It talks about the elements of art a little bit, some things that we'll talk about later. Horizontal lines are flat, and they're lines of rest. They look and appear and give the feeling of peace and stagnant at rest because nothing is going on. It's just totally flat, like a sunset. That line, it creates a calming feeling. So this is just a quick review from the last video. I mean, if a person is laying flat, the body's not doing anything. There's no muscles holding anything up. It's just at rest, and that's the horizontal lines. Vertical lines are lines of strength, like a telephone pole. I talked about that. They're straight up and down. If a telephone pole is crooked, then it is not strong. Curved lines are lines of beauty. So my example is flowers, and I have this little curly Q. So it gives that feeling and that sense. So if you were going to talk about a curvy line, you would be talking about beauty and attractiveness, where vertical lines you could talk about in your artwork, you could talk about their lines of strength. For example, here's a Piet Mondrian image. So we have, if I were talking about this particular image painting, I would say, first of all, I have the three primary colors, blue, red, and yellow. They are the primary colors because you cannot take any colors and mix and make them. These are the primary. You have to have these first. So primary means one. And if you have the three primary colors, you can mix them to make other colors. So that's why they're the primaries. Then we can talk about the lines in this picture. We have horizontal that are lines of rest. We have verticals that are lines of strength. And the artist Piet Mondrian, he was a Frenchman. What he called this was it's fields of color. So he had fields of white separating the three primary colors. So that way it's kind of a study of these colors so that way you can see them with white around them and not other colors around them. And a lot of artists in the abstract category are looking at colors and studying them, and they enjoy talking about what colors look like when they're near a different color or near white, and does it make the colors seem to look brighter. So that's kind of what they're thinking about. I talked about some diagonal lines. Diagonal lines are lines like this. And a diagonal line makes a person look at it and then follow the line. So if it's in a picture, like of this house, if you've seen the slideshow, the roof of the house has an angle, and that makes your eye follow it. This picture here, the roof of this red schoolhouse has an angle. Then it frames the picture, and that makes you focus on the kids in the front of the picture. So the artist takes you on a tour by using and arranging the elements of art. Multiple diagonal lines, so that would be lots of lines that are like this. Multiple diagonal lines can create confusion because the human eye sees all of these lines and the human eye wants to follow them, and then if there's lots of them, it can become very confusing. For example, this image here is an optical illusion. There's many diagonal lines, so when you look at it, your eye just keeps on wanting to move around, so it can kind of create a strain. Here's another one. This one here is kind of circular, but on the edge of every circle there are small diagonal lines, and then it actually, if you move your head in and out, it kind of appears to be moving, and that's because of the lines. So the lines, different types of lines do different types of things. Today's project, that was some review, is about abstract non-objective art. So abstract non-objective art is artwork that has shapes, lines, and colors. And in non-objective art, you don't see an image of a horse or a person. You don't see anything. It's just shapes, the lines, and colors. And that would be called abstract non-objective. So famous non-objective artists: Jackson Pollock, Piet Mondrian, Mark Rothko, Wassily Kandinsky. Wassily Kandinsky is our artist of the month for this month. Here is Jackson Pollock. Jackson Pollock is known for his splatter painting. Jackson Pollock is one of the first artists from the United States that became famous. Before Jackson Pollock, most artists that were considered famous lived in different countries, mostly Europe. And Jackson Pollock started up his concept of dripping and throwing, splattering paint, and it creates an abstract, non-objective design. So he was the first artist to be on Time magazine of the cover, and his paintings are very large, and he would get into it. It's called action painting. He'd be slapping and throwing the paint around. So in this, oopsie-doops, I have Mark Rothko. Mark Rothko is an artist that is abstract, non-objective, and you might see that there are no objects in it. There's not an image of a cow or a horse or anything. What you see is just some plain, very simple colors. He would actually name his paintings. Sometimes they would be untitled. I believe that this one might be called number 3. They would just give them numbers. But he would sit in front of his paintings for a long time, and he would just keep on shading and just blending colors. In this one, you can see there's some different colors of orange. So the one on the right would be warm colors. The one on the left would be cool colors, because we have all blue. And he would actually, I know it might seem kind of wild, but he would sit there and just keep blending the colors over and over. And he was studying the relationship of how bright and how dark some colors looked with a different color around them, surrounding them. And he would study this, and that was his art. So it was something that his own style and his own invention to do this. So this is Mark Rothko, famous artist. I had a college professor that actually got to watch him paint, and he said he just would sit there and paint and stare at the painting and just keep adding more color and just looking at the painting for hours and hours and hours. Which, if I look at it, or you might look at it and say, wow, I can paint that really fast. And here is our Artist of the Month, Wassily Kandinsky. If you go to the on Schoology, where I have the art links, there is a link for Artist of the Month. And on that link, you can click on the paintings in the background. One painting doesn't seem to work, so I've got to figure that out, how to fix it. But there are 2 really good videos on there, and one is about this painting here. You should check it out. It's pretty cool. But watching those videos, I think you'll get a good sense of Wassily Kandinsky, our Artist of the Month. And here is the Piet Mondrian, the Frenchman. You can see the fields of color here. And that is it. I will touch on real quick here abstract objective art, because I talked about non-objective. Just real quick, abstract objective is when you can see an object. So you can see that this is a woman. This is by Pablo Picasso. You can see it, but it doesn't look real by any means. And you can see that it's a woman, and you can see that maybe she has a Kleenex on her face, but it doesn't look like it's real life at all. So that would be abstract objective. So you can check that out. So today your project is going to be, we're going to be looking at an abstract non-objective image, and you can create your own based on inspiration from either Wassily Kandinsky or Piet Mondrian or perhaps Mark Rothko. So you can choose one, and then you can get some paper, and it doesn't have to be a large piece of paper. It could be a small piece of paper. I worked small, and it still took me quite a bit of time just to make it. So I would suggest working small. So here's my Wassily Kandinsky example. See that? So I set it up. I made my concentric circles. I did not paint it. I used colored pencils. So you could do that. And then I made a Piet Mondrian miniature. I did a little bit of a gradation in mine. So what I would ask for you to do, this is not really a Mark Rothko. It's kind of a horizontal line, abstract, non-objective drawing. But what I would like for you to do is use your circle, the camera. You click on the circle in the bottom left corner. You click on camera. You can hold up your drawing if you don't want your face in the picture. If you want to be in the picture, that's fine. And then you're going to click on the camera. You'll click the button. It'll take the picture. And then you can go to Schoology, go to the art discussion. On the art discussion, right above where it says the word post, there's a little bitty squares. Click that, and then it will give you the option to bring your picture, and then you're going to put your picture right there in that discussion so your classmates can see what you made in your drawing. So that is your assignment for week 2. So it's not hard, it's not difficult, but I do ask that you check out the videos and maybe look at my slideshow, and then be submerged in abstract, non-objective art. Okay? Have fun. Good luck. I want to see what you guys can do.